Hello? Hard to miss it. It's hard to miss. Yeah, that's what I was thinking you were gonna talk about, even though I didn't know that. I can just see it. They just look different. Oops.
Properties. Okay, check, check, check. That was very weird.
I didn't notice anything out of place.
No, something is not quite right here in OBS. Hey, can people hear me now? Okay. So I was just telling Zach I got new glasses. And the reason why is because I broke my other ones and I had to grow them back together. And it's been like 4 years since I got them. So anyway, by the way, hello, welcome to the show. All that fun stuff. Yeah, I apparently my audio settings got messed up here. So I think they could hear you, but they couldn't hear me. Everything should be good now. So anyway, um, let's see here. Hit that button. So yeah, I had a jam-packed day yesterday, Zach.
That's so.
Yeah. So as you know, I've talked about many times on the show before. So I am basically the IT director for our church, and so the diocese um, basically did a bunch of changes yesterday. Or no, not yesterday. It was Tuesday. So they reassigned a bunch of people to different parishes and things like that. And so we got a new priest, right? He's a nice young guy. He's like a year older than me. He was at one of the other parishes in Mason City, and now he's in our, at our church now, which is really cool. So I was there yesterday, and of course, being much younger, he's got all the technology and things like that, right? The outgoing priest was in his 60s or 70s or something like that, so he was familiar-ish with technology, but not quite the way that like you and me and like a younger person would be. So anyway, so I was there setting up IT pretty much all day yesterday. So made a little money out of the deal, so that wasn't horrible. I wasn't looking for any money, but yeah, so had a great time. Met his parents. They cooked me food, basically. They fed me, so that was really neat. Um, and yeah, so. But we rolled out a bunch of new stuff. So like one of the things I really love about the Ubiquiti network system is that it is so easy to implement um, new SSIDs into it. So he has like a smart TV and all these other little things that are need to be connected to the network and things like that. So basically, I was like, I'm gonna just create you your own little network, like your own SSID that's just for you. Um, so that's really neat. So now my access points give off like 4 different SSIDs on them, which is a little ridiculous, but it's a thing. So anyway, but yeah, then I started looking at it. So in the Catholic Church we have something called a rectory, which is basically the house that the priest lives in. In our case, it's located directly next to the church, and it was a house that was there like way, way, way back when, and then they made some additions to it and things like that. It's huge. But, you know, being that it's older, it was never wired for like networking or things like that. So we're trying to modernize it. So that may be a project down the line that I have to figure out. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, joy, wiring.
You hate wiring, don't you?
I don't really ever do wiring.
Yeah, but like it's not something that you get excited about, is it?
Absolutely not.
Let me ask you, okay? Because I was trying to figure this out, right? So, when it comes to IT, right? What would your approach rather be? Would you rather be like what you're doing now, like support, or
I hate support. I view support as doing my time in the trenches before I get to do something a little better.
like what? So what? When you say that, I guess
cannot predict what I will be doing
not what you
when
predict.
I get out of the trenches.
Not what you predict that you're going to be doing, but like if you could set your own course, where would you eventually like to end up? Like
I don't know. Somewhere making lots of money.
wow. So it all
Yeah.
comes down to money, Zach.
Who doesn't want to make lots of money?
You're not supposed to be so egotistic about it, though.
What? Well, what
Or-
do you go to work for? Fun? No, don't think so. I don't have such an idealistic view of work.
That's probably true.
Unfortunately, very few people get the privilege of absolutely unshakingly loving what they go to work for.
Says, why I want to build my own business. Yup.
Reasonable, I suppose. Reasonable if a bit idealistic, but yeah, I mean,
It's probably not that far-fetched.
I might argue.
It's probably not super, super far-fetched. Some better marketing, some things like that. I actually, I inquired about what the process would be to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce in my area. Basically you pay basically a membership fee, basically, but, it may be something that I look at as a way of advertising my business. And networking with other people. Not computer networking, but like people networking.
Yes.
So, that could be a thing. But yeah, I guess like, okay, so if I view myself as where I would love to be in my IT career, it's running an IT business where I'm running networking cable and setting up routers and like playing with equipment and building servers and things like that. And managing all that stuff. So I guess that's where what I'm asking is like, if you had an idea, like, so you see as working in support as, being in the trenches, but like, I guess realistically, what do you see? Do you still see yourself more of a desk position or a
probably
technician position?
Probably more at a desk.
Okay. So that's what I was curious about.
I can't go on site every day. I just can't.
Okay.
I want to die if I go on site every freaking day.
So you'd rather
It's so tiring, and you always end up overstaying, and it's just It's just a trap to get you overworking yourself.
Oh, why do you just hate life, Zach?
So many people in my department just fall for the trap of overworking themselves.
Why do you hate
feel
life?
like they have to do it. I don't know.
Mr. Glass half empty.
Glass half empty?
Glass half empty.
Yeah.
I may or may not be slightly inebriated. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Although a beer doesn't sound bad later. Anyway, no, that's what I was curious about was like, so you couldn't do what I desire to do, which is like, being on site, running projects every day, basically. Different place, like, probably every day. in people's homes or businesses, working with them. You're telling me you couldn't do that. Actually, I can't. No, you're not really a people person. Yeah. Yeah, I think a desk position is probably better suited for you. Unfortunately, if you think about that, though, actually, well, how do you feel about management, Zach? Oop, I don't know if we can hear you anymore. I may have lost Zach. Hello? Okay. This hasn't happened in a while. Please stand by for technical difficulties. Potentially. Oh, and we lost Zach. I don't know if maybe there's some internet issues or something like that going on. I am not quite sure. Well. Oh, are you back?
My everything just inexplicably died.
I wondered what happened. I thought maybe your internet dropped out or.
Oh, so angry about that.
What? Okay, so what just dropped out?
My computer, it just hung.
Oh! Time to reinstall Windows?
No, it's not at all a frequent event.
What? Okay.
One mishap and you're telling me to reinstall Windows? Yeah. No. Not happening.
Did it blue screen?
It didn't even blue screen. It just hung.
What were you doing?
I wasn't doing anything. I opened a web page.
You literally opened the web browser and the whole system just hung.
It was the web browser open and it hung. I opened a page and it hung. Like, it just did. I don't know.
Was that like one of those... Okay, so there was an exploit.
Just one of those fluke moments, I guess.
No, okay, so there was an exploit for iPhones a while back where if you opened, like...
Yes.
If you hit a specific link, it would, like... The whole phone would basically just, like, freak out and then restart. So was it one of those?
No.
No. Okay, anyway.
Very angry. I'm really not happy.
What did you hear me? What was the last thing you heard me say?
I don't even remember. I'm angry.
So what I was talking about was
happy.
What I was saying was is you wouldn't be well suited for me, or for like well suited in the position that I want to be, which would be like going to people's businesses and homes like every day and like working on their tech problems and things like that. You couldn't do that.
No.
Yeah, no. So no. what I was saying was how do you feel about management?
A lot of managers are losers?
No, I mean for yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, okay, so you
become a loser?
Well, okay, so here's what I was gonna say is like you aspire to be more of a desk worker, right? And apparently make lots of money. So it sounds like IT management is perfect for you because managers always stay at their desk. They're never on the floor, and they make lots of money.
My team's manager is grossly overworked and sits in meetings all day. I'd rather shoot myself. Like, he just sits in meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings, and he deals with all of the corporate crap.
That's probably true. Actually, okay, so let me ask you. Would you rather sit in a meeting all day? Would you rather be stuck in a meeting or stuck helping a normie with a problem.
How much attention is required of this meeting?
I don't know. What use your well? You probably don't know what kind of meetings you're.
No, I'm
you're de-
talking about if it's meetings where where the person in question just has to sit and pay it not really much attention at all. Then of course, I would much rather sit in meetings because that means I just get to sit and just do whatever I want.
Okay, what if you actually have to be somewhat a part of the meeting?
Well, that's awfully rough then.
So in that case, would you still rather sit in the meeting?
Maybe.
Ooh, would you rather sit in a meeting where you have to be very involved or work on a printer?
Oh, I don't like this game of Would You Rather.
Or would you rather just kill yourself?
No, I'm not very self-destructive. Although actually sitting in meetings is quite self-destructive, I will say that.
It can be. Yes, it can be. Yeah, I don't know. So, actually, how do you feel about like well, okay. I was going to ask you about what your stance was on, or not necessarily stance, but like, I guess, so, how do I want to word this? I was going to say something, but that would give something else away that I don't want to give away. Nothing bad, but, I guess, how do you feel about repairing devices, shall we say?
Meh.
Okay, so meh for you. Okay. Got it.
Like, I can do a little. I don't know. Do some.
Okay. I was thinking like you're like you don't you wouldn't probably enjoy working on like iPhones and iPads or other
mobile
cellular like mobile devices.
Worst. Mobile device
They're not horrible. Anyway,
can be.
so this is something fun. I don't know if you heard about this, but a new President Biden executive order adds to the right to repair pressure on many companies, Apple.
Good.
Mm-hmm. One of the 72 initiatives in the order specifically calls on the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, to introduce rules against restrictions on DIY and third-party repairs. While some of the text references the agricultural industry, and tractors in particular, there is a separate reference to cell phone manufacturers. Back in May, the FTC published a report on anti-competitive repair restrictions that directly called out Apple. Here's what it said. One example given
not
is
just phones, please.
Hold on. We'll talk about it in a second. Hang on. One example given is Apple's requirement for its authorized independent repair shop program. The contract stipulates repair technicians may be subject to unannounced audits and inspections by Apple. And if independent repair shops leave the program, the contract actually includes a term that gives Apple the right to continue inspecting repair shops for up to 5 years after it ends. Wait, what? I didn't know it said that. Oh,
What if you just tell the inspector that they're trespassing and they need to leave?
I'm not quite sure how that works because...
I have no idea.
Well, okay, I don't know if you have grounds to do that because you had signed... Because the initial contract stipulates that they may be subject to unannounced audits and inspections by Apple. So I don't actually think you'd have any legal grounds there.
Give them the boot. Screw them.
Apple also restricts access to service manuals and has issued copyright takedown notices when they are posted online.
Good luck enforcing that, Apple.
Oh, they've done it.
Okay, but if somebody really wishes to acquire such manual, they will.
That's right, but if Apple finds out who's publishing that, they're going to be in a world of hurt. Because Apple's going to come after them.
I mean, I don't know. For example, the Pirate Bay is still running.
Yeah. Anyway, so 9 to 5 Mac noted earlier in the week that the White House was likely to respond by asking the FTC to introduce new rules to tackle the issue. And this is what actually happened. The briefing paper opens by describing the broader issue of limited competition in some markets. For decades, corporate consolidation has been accelerating, and over 75% of U.S. industries, a smaller number of large companies now control more of the business than they did 20 years ago. This is true across healthcare, financial services, agriculture, and more. The lack of competition drives up prices for consumers. Today's historic executive order established a whole of government effort to promote competition in American economy. The order includes 72 initiatives by more than a dozen federal agencies to promptly tackle some of the most pressing competition problems across our economy. Once implemented, these initiatives will result in concrete improvements to people's lives. One clause in President Biden's executive order addressed the right to repair issue with smartphones. This is where this would basically affect Apple and other, entities as well. Apple, Samsung, right? Cell phone manufacturers and others blocking out independent repair shops. Tech and other companies impose restrictions on self and third-party repairers, making repairs more costly and time-consuming, such as by restricting the distribution of parts, diagnostics, and repair tools. In the order, let's see. It says in the order the president encourages the FCC to issue rules against anti-competitive restrictions on using independent repair shops or doing DIY repairs of your own device and equipment. Apple has already had the embarrassment of seeing the company's co-founder Steve Wozniak. Oh, this is interesting. Speak up for the right to repair movement and call on companies to start doing the right things. Yeah,
that thing doesn't fatten their bank accounts, so.
Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, calling on the company to do the right thing, and other companies to do the right thing. So anyway, so we have talked, little bits and pieces about the right to repair movement. But this is significant. And I think the thing is if you see this right to, if we can actually implement some good rules, right? Some good policies with this, then even though you're talking about some of these other industries, like the agricultural industry. So John Deere is kind of like the Apple of farm equipment. And that they will purposely lock out, farmers and repair technicians from performing specific repairs on these tractors. And I love their arguments on a lot of this stuff, Zach. So you know what John Deere's argument is?
I'm sure it's about safety.
It is about safety.
Blah, blah.
It is about safety.
You might cut your head off or something just completely obscene.
So,
yeah, of course, you're repairing a large contraption that probably has lots of blades and moving parts and engine and, duh, of course.
Okay,
use your head.
Let me ask you a question. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how much do you know about cars?
Not a lot, but...
Okay. Not a lot, right? Can you go down to any auto parts store and purchase new brakes for your vehicle, Zach?
Maybe.
Yeah, you
with
can.
enough Google beforehand.
Yeah, well, the point is you
To
can.
know what kind of brakes to get.
That's not the point. The point
Okay,
is
fine.
that you can, right?
Right.
And if you so desire, Zach, could you put those brakes on your own vehicle without going to a mechanic?
If I knew how to do it.
Sure.
Yes.
We're being less technical about it, but
I'm sure car companies don't want that.
no, but okay, the argument that I'm making here is that your vehicle is a, 2-ton piece of metal that can travel up to speeds of probably over 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
And yet, me and you, who...
We can work on them as much as we want.
Yeah, no...
I can put a new engine in my car if I were so inclined.
Who know a limited amount of car stuff,
I could rip out the entire interior and fill it with whatever I felt like.
I think the brakes one makes a better argument, though, for when you want to
If
talk
I were
about...
so inclined, I could rip the brakes off and then go for a drive without them. Probably wouldn't be a very long drive, but I could if I wanted.
My point is that a novice can go do that and put them on a 2-ton vehicle, and we don't have a problem with this, right? We allow it to happen. Yet, and okay, I could... No, okay, I was going to say I could maybe see the argument, but, so a farmer can't do that on their tractor,
Yeah.
And even worse, Apple's like, pulling the battery out of your phone could be dangerous. I would probably
argue... it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous to Apple's bank account.
That's true. I mean, yeah, lithium-ion batteries do have the potential to Ignite, yes. I was going to say catch on fire, but they don't really catch on fire.
So do cars!
That is true. Right. But here's the thing. If I blow up my iPhone battery, it's probably not going to... It's going to be a mess. And my phone's probably going to be destroyed. But I'm probably still going to be alive, right? If I screw up the brakes...
said if you explode your car.
If I screw up the brakes on my vehicle, I have the potential to not only kill myself, but somebody else because it's a 2-ton piece of metal. And yet, I can go put new brakes on my car if I want to. So, this argument of safety is complete hogwash. I have hated that argument. So, that would be my argument back, is, really. Oh, also, so, in my particular entity, we replace batteries in cell phones and other electronic devices quite often. So we have a nice assortment of lithium-ion batteries. So, as a training exercise for some of our newer employees, one Saturday afternoon, we grabbed a lithium-ion battery, took it out back, and I poked a hole on it. Do you know what happened, Zach?
It exploded and you lost a hand.
No, it did absolutely nothing.
Probably, yeah.
So I poked it again. And again.
Didn't do anything.
And again. And then I tried about 6 or 7 other batteries with the same result. Yeah, so lithium-ion batteries are so dangerous. Now, they become less dangerous as they discharge. But here's the thing. We had one battery that somebody had literally brought in a phone that day for a battery replacement. And we used that one. And that one didn't even go up. And that one was decently charged.
You know what Apple could do to help people be more safe?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe publish some instructions on
They
how to
could
do it.
publish
Do it
instructions on how to
safely?
do it safely and provide tools for sale that people can use to replace batteries safely. That would probably work. And you
Mhm.
could pay a reasonable price to acquire such tools and manuals from Apple, maybe. But not a gouged price, because that wouldn't be cool. But yeah, I mean that'd be something, right?
It would be. It would be. It very much would be something.
I think that would make people safe and
Yeah,
replace the
yeah,
batteries.
and that's the other argument that I made too is that they argue about
It's not like the
safety.
Apple technician is some special like wizard for knowing how to replace a battery.
In some cases,
They're
there
just
are
an
people that
average
actually
person
know.
with training.
Well, yeah, but there are in some instances people who, independent repair shops, who know more than the Apple geniuses.
Yeah, the people in independent repair shops usually do know more because they had to figure it out themselves.
Yep.
And the so-called geniuses get the canned Apple training that's, crap.
I think for basic
I
things.
know because at a past employer, I received Apple officially sanctioned training. It was terrible, and we were rushed through it. Encouraged just to pass the test and be done with it, even if you didn't walk away knowing anything.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's an interesting thing. I think the thing is though is that if you do see decent policies rolled out in one industry, then you're probably going to see it roll out in other industries. And the reason why is because at that point you're going to start having people say, well, I can now fix my tractor. Why can't I fix my phone?
Reasonable, yeah.
So, and I think the other thing is from what I've heard, it makes a lot of sense is that if you can get a country, whether it's us, the United States, or Europe, or China, or wherever, to pass right to repair bills, then you can probably realistically see it spread across the rest of the world because the logistics of that is probably just not going to be worth it for a company. Think about it. If Europe were to pass a right to repair movement that said Apple had to sell, tools and release documentation and all the things that we would love in a right to repair, bill. They're not just going to do it. Oh, well, Apple's a pretty special company, so they might, but realistically, I don't think you see a company just roll that out in one country. I think the logistics of it are going to be too crazy.
I see a lot of companies doing that, to be honest.
What, where they split some of this stuff up like that?
I see it happening.
I don't know.
It could.
But it's definitely something interesting to keep an eye on. For sure. But moving on. Let's talk about Microsoft news for this week. So, this is kind of a fun idea-ish. Well, at least I think it's fun. Microsoft puts PCs in the cloud with Windows 365 now, Zach.
Oh, that's interesting, actually.
So Microsoft is putting Windows in the cloud. Windows 365 is a new service that will let businesses access cloud PCs from anywhere. So basically, it's going to be streaming a version of Windows 10 or Windows 11 in a web browser. While virtualization...
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so while virtualization and remote access to PCs has existed for more than a decade, Microsoft is betting on Windows 365 to offer cloud PCs to businesses just as they shift toward a mix of office and remote work. And it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Probably not for those with a tight budget.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there might be some pricing in here. So, Windows 365 will work on any modern web browser or through Microsoft's remote desktop app. Okay, that's kind of neat. Allowing users to access their cloud PC from a variety of devices. Windows 365 provides an instant on boot experience. And according to a general manager for Microsoft, or that's according to a general manager for Microsoft 365, the instant access lets workers stream their workstation session with all their same apps, tools, data, and settings across Macs, iPads, Linux machines, and Android devices, which is pretty sweet, actually.
Very sweet.
You can pick up right where you left off because the state of your cloud PC remains the same, even when you switch devices. Right, yeah, you're basically just remote desktoping in.
What about, I mean, this thing is targeted at businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what businesses like to put their computers on?
What, thin clients?
A domain.
Oh, oh, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Can you domain join your cloud PC?
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure. Hang on, let's see.
What about like file sharing? A lot of businesses,
OneDrive.
Certainly including the one that I work at,
OneDrive.
love to use network storage for all their users.
OneDrive.
I'm sure that, yeah, you know what? It sounds completely stupid, but you're probably right. Microsoft just wants you to use OneDrive. Just pay. Just pay.
Microsoft 365 will only be available for businesses when it launches on August 2nd with a per-user monthly subscription cost. Microsoft is not detailing exact pricing details until the service launches next month, but Windows 365 is designed for one-person businesses all the way up to enterprises with thousands of employees. So, okay, if that's the case...
I'm sure it's mega expensive.
Yeah, if that's the case, there may be some provisions for... what is it? Some provisions for, joining them to a domain. I don't know. There's going to be 2 editions of Windows 365, Business and Enterprise. Both are powered by Azure Virtual Desktop, and individual cloud PCs can be configured with a single CPU, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabytes of storage at the low end, all the way up to 8 CPUs, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of storage. Okay. I'm a little curious about the memory specs on these.
Memory?
Yeah, 2 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah, 2 gigabytes at the low end, that's not very good.
Well, unless they have... They would have to have this this platform very well optimized, I would think.
Well, they just said it was Windows 10, though, didn't they? Like,
Windows 10 or Windows 11.
10. Oh, God. Blech.
Windows 10 or Windows 11. Microsoft is offering 12 different configurations for both Windows 365 Business and Enterprise, and businesses will be able to scale processing power, so there'll be lots of options to choose from. Okay. Technically, Microsoft offering Windows in the cloud isn't much different to the myriad of choices that businesses could already opt for.
Probably Myriad.
Or Myriad, yep, sorry. Of choices that businesses could already opt for with virtualization right now. Microsoft has already offered similar technology with Azure Virtual Desktop and Citrix. Oh, Citrix.
Citrix is terrible.
Has been offering cloud-hosted desktop PCs for years. Honestly, we use Citrix in my entity.
Stupid app always breaks.
I never had problems with it. I do not have problems with it. It's actually very reliable. Now, what we're doing is we are... It's not a virtualized desktop. It is a virtualized piece of software, basically.
Yes.
So it's a virtualized app.
I've had similar things break.
No, ours is pretty solid. The only time we really have issues with it is when I accidentally try to query too much data. I was going through something the other day. I was looking at stuff, and I accidentally asked the... I was pulling some reports, and I accidentally asked it to pull our sales history from, like, the beginning of when our store actually opened to the current date.
Oops.
Yeah, it was not too happy with me. It just kind of spun. And then, like, the program just kind of hung for a while. was like, so we're just gonna close this for a while. Come back to it. So Microsoft is trying to differentiate. Where Microsoft is trying to differentiate is in both ease of use and management. Windows 365 is really going to make a huge difference for organizations that want to try virtualization for various reasons but could not. Maybe it was too costly, too expensive, or they didn't have the expertise in-house to do it. Okay, yeah, I mean there's some truth there. So businesses will be able to create cloud PCs within minutes and assign them to employees, avoiding the need for dedicated physical hardware. That could be appealing for many businesses hiring remote workers or even temporary contract staff that need to securely connect or securely access a corporate network. So yeah, so the wording in here does make it sound like network drives and other things like that would be possible.
Perhaps. I wonder if any kind of like VPN
That's kind of what I'm
required for that.
That's what I'm somewhat wondering. I was just gonna say, I wonder if that's through utilizing a VPN, but
I mean, it might be something that can It might be something that can be done from like the management side, though. Where
that's a good
Let's
point.
say you configure a VM, and then you can just configure it so that when the user logs in, they're automatically like VPN'd into your network.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I don't know if that's how they're doing it at all. I'm just talking a bunch of crap, I guess.
Well, what I was gonna say was, I think with a solution like this,
plausible though.
I think with a solution like this, where you're already talking about virtualization and things like that, I would imagine that there's going to be options for connecting these things to your, corporate network in some way.
There's gotta be.
Yeah. So as your entire Windows PC is in the cloud, employees don't need to navigate VPNs or worry about security on personal devices. Okay, yeah, there's some truth to that.
Users are really dumb with VPNs.
At the church, we have a VPN, and I have... Well, I'm pretty much the only one who uses it, so...
I guess you don't have to worry about supporting any dum-dums with it, then.
Our office secretary has attempted to use it, but there's some weird things with our VPN. It's not perfect. I wish that my users could access their machines utilizing their PC names, basically.
They have to do it by IP?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's preventing that?
I think it's a problem with how Linux translates, because the VPN is running basically on top of a Linux platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a problem with how Linux translates the, well, you wouldn't call it a host name, but I don't think Linux can understand Windows computers like computer names, basically. So it's some.
Do you need a Windows DNS server? But DNS is DNS, right?
Well, yeah, but
Linux
you could
DNS and Windows DNS.
Yeah, but you could use DNS inside of the network itself too. I don't know. It's something that I've worked on fixing multiple times, and I just can't really be bothered at the moment because it works, and like I'm really the only one using it. And it's easy enough to basically just tell the few users that we have, like, just use the IP address.
I mean, that's fair.
So, yeah, just use the IP address. Like, here you go.
At a previous job, we had we had something called a remote desktop gateway server, which allowed connecting directly to a PC by the name of that PC without having to use the IP address from outside the network.
Yeah, I think what the problem is like I said, I think it's a DNS resolution issue.
Well, obviously, if you're able to do it by IP but not name, it's definitely DNS.
Mm-hmm. So something somewhere doesn't translate. I think it's that conversion between Linux and the Windows system where they don't communicate with each other very well. So I've looked at some solutions and haven't fully fixed it yet. And so anyway, Something to work on down the line, but yeah. So Windows 365 seems perfectly timed for businesses looking to tackle the complexities of remote work. Microsoft has been working on the service for years. The operating systems group at Microsoft have been working on a project codenamed Arcadia, I think is how that's pronounced. A service to stream video games from the cloud. Oh, okay. Arcadia dates all the way back to Microsoft demonstrating Halo running on a Windows phone in 2013. Wow, okay. This early virtualization work eventually led to Windows 365 and a focus on making it consumer friendly. All right, well, that's good. So yeah, it's a neat idea.
Hopefully they don't manage to screw it up.
Yeah. That is a thing.
Hopefully they don't decide to add too many quote-unquote features
Sorry, I'm just looking at this here real
that
quick.
are, in fact, completely useless.
Let's see. There's a startup. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, this is interesting. There's a startup called Mighty that is offering a $30 a month web browser that lives in the cloud.
What? Why?
It's designed to offer a better web experience on older laptops and PCs.
$30 a month? What? For a year's worth of this product, I could buy a perfectly serviceable web browsing PC that won't disappear after a year.
That's true.
I mean, sure, it won't be anything insane, but like $30 a month? That's robbery.
If you have a PC that old, though, my guess would be that you probably really don't care about having a super over-the-top system like you and me have.
I'm just saying that the price of this product is ridiculous.
Oh, I agree.
If you can't afford a PC at all, like this seems like a product that's targeted at people who have such old PCs because they can't afford a newer PC at all. Like, wow. But how are they going to afford a $30 a month subscription for this?
Yeah, I'm not quite
They can't even afford a low-end PC. Or a Chromebook, even. A Chromebook! If I just want to go online, I can go to Best Buy and get a $150 Chromebook. It's not even a bottom-of-the-barrel Chromebook, either.
You know, let me ask you, what is your opinion on Chromebooks?
I don't like Chromebooks, because I need something that can do more than just go on the web. But
fair point. Okay, hang on. If you're not gaming,
if I were the target audience for this product, I would consider a Chromebook.
Okay, if you didn't have the need, if you weren't gaming, right?
Like, no, I don't want a Chromebook. It's too restricted. It's far too restricted.
Even in your, like, what if you have one for work?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Still too restricted.
The only reason I ask is because... Oh, hold on. Because here's mine. Right here. So I do have a Chromebook. And I actually love this thing when I just need a very portable computer to basically run a web browser in. And that's it. Which is most of the time when I'm doing a lot of the IT stuff. So, But yeah, if I need to do any creative work or anything like that, like create graphics and stuff like that, this is not going to help me. But other than that,
They're just so restrictive.
I actually really like the Chromebook.
Can't install whatever I want on that.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
You're just locked into whatever you can do in Chrome. I
No,
get that that's by design, but
no. You can run Android apps on this from the Play Store.
Okay, or an Android phone. Okay, fine. That helps so much for me. Not
So
like, I mean, I'm not like talking smack about the product. It has a place. It's just not for me.
okay, well that's what I was asking.
It's not for me. Not at all.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure even in that scenario where you just basically need a web browser. So that's what I like about it is that most of what I need to do.
But a Chromebook, in my opinion, obsoletes this product completely.
Oh yeah, it does.
Even though a Chromebook predates it. I mean, you can get a Chromebook for $100. That's a little over 3 months of this product.
Yeah, I can't remember how much this
You can
one
just
cost
have
me.
a device that will be yours forever, that will be able to do the same thing that this product does.
Yeah, I can't remember how.
It's completely overpriced. You know, for $5 or $10 at the most.
Mhm.
Like, gosh.
Server space is expensive. And time.
Yeah, I
Time.
guess. But like, I don't know. It just feels like something that wasn't worth their time then.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
if people are paying, then who am I to argue? I don't know. I just feel like this seems like a silly thing to purchase.
Yeah.
When a Chromebook can be had for $100 if you're in a pinch and just really need a web browsing machine.
Well, web browsing machines or, web-based machines might not be a horrible thing. Yes, no. Anyway, chip manufacturer TSMC has reiterated that it expects chip shortages to continue into next year, Zach.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. The warning came as the company reported its latest financial results, which saw its net sales rise almost 20% to, I don't know what NT stands for, but basically around $13.3 billion compared to the same quarter the previous year. However, automakers should see the shortage gradually easing this quarter. As the world's largest contract chip manufacturer, a lot of attention has been paid to TSMC amid the global chip shortage, which has impacted the manufacturing of everything from cars to gaming consoles. TSMC is a leading manufacturer of semiconductors and is responsible for producing the majority of smartphone processors worldwide. It supplies chips to the world's biggest tech companies, including Apple, Qualcomm, and AMD, and controls 28% of the world's semiconductor production capacity, according to a recent report from Counterpoint Research. Wow. Okay, that's significant. Warnings about the chip shortage continuing, or shortage lasting into 2022 are broadly in line with what TSMC said last quarter, when the CEO said, "I hope we can offer more capacity to support our customers. At this time, we'll start to see a supply chain tightness release a little bit." Okay. So yeah, it sounds like over the next couple of years, not going to be a great time to build a computer.
No, absolutely not.
Which is a real shame. I'm glad I built my virtualization server when I did. Actually,
well, the kind of stuff that we're in the market for machines like that is in plentiful supply.
I was going to say it's probably in plentiful supply. So
I mean, we're talking about, putting together like computers out of parts that are nearly 10 years old.
Hey, you know what? They still work.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing the fact they still work.
No, I'm just saying
that. I'm just saying that dorks like us are the only people who want this stuff.
Which
the market's not big.
You know what I wonder though is like, okay, so now that I own a virtualization server, right? Like, other than for like Windows stuff, right? Like, what do you need that powerful of a server for? What are you doing with it?
What do you mean? You're talking to me?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying I'm saying like a business in general.
Like, a business? I don't.
Yeah, like what do you need a dual core Xeon like system for with, like
I mean, a business, I guess I don't know what a business. I mean, a business has like they maybe have Active Directory, they have file sharing. You know, they maybe
Maybe if you okay,
virtualize out.
so maybe if you're
certain
running more
things.
virtualized Windows systems, right? But for me, running Linux, with a command line, install
Well, like
only.
my employer, I know my employer virtualizes tons of servers. A lot of machines. Well, every site has its own server that does file sharing, it does printers, it does Active Directory.
Okay, so I guess I could maybe see in an environment like something like that where it may make a little bit more sense.
It's well, a lot of those machines are actually at the location, so sometimes we encounter issues with them where we have to try and walk administrators through the server room to unplug it and plug it back in and turn it on.
You don't have one of those fancy management ports like you do in the back of your.
I don't know. I don't have access to the things. I'm a peasant. Don't you understand? I'm a nobody. I'm a loser. I'm one of the losers.
The fact that you know what some of those servers do, though, that's the thing. That's kind of funny, but anyway.
Of course I know what they do.
Dang. Yep. Anyway, couple of rapid fire stories real quick here. So the chip shortage leads to basically $123,000 CPU smuggling bust in Hong Kong.
Interesting.
So a report by HKEPC, I don't know if that's actually how you're supposed to say that, or anyway, so probably Hong Kong something. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, some I don't know, probably news entity in Hong Kong. Oh, well, this is maybe customs. So the customs department there has reported that it managed to stop 2 recent smuggling attempts involving Intel's 10th gen Comet Lake processors that totaled more than $123,000 worth of chipset.
Why are they smuggling CPUs? Jeez.
Because,
are they illegal?
No, because they want to resell them, probably.
Oh, they don't want to pay taxes on them, probably.
Well, no, probably because of the chip shortage.
Well, yeah, but if they were able to get them to begin with, unless they were stolen. Were they stolen?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's what...
They were stolen. But like, if you managed to legitimately acquire CPUs, like, why are you smuggling them? How is it smuggling? If they're yours and they're not illegal. What?
Yeah.
I guess I don't really understand
well,
why it's
here,
smuggling.
Let me read more of this article real quick here. Okay? So, these aren't isolated events, though. On July 5th, Hong Kong Customs also seized as much as 2,200 CPUs, over 1,000 RAM sticks, and around 630 smartphones, and oddly enough, 70 cosmetic products. Okay? The total market value of this smuggling attempt is $4 million USD. The first new incident occurred on June 16 when a truck driver was inspected by the customs officer at the Hong Kong something Zunhai Mac. Yeah, anyways, basically a checkpoint, right? After inspection, the officer found 256 CPUs strapped to the driver's upper ribs and calves.
Wow.
Oh, may I direct your attention to your screen real quick, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Oh. That is ridiculous.
By the way, so this is apparently some of the CPUs, I guess, that, like, Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this one's just hilarious right here. So,
Why would you? Oh man, okay.
so, anyway, um, okay, so, yeah, so he found 256 CPUs strapped to the driver's upper ribs and calves. The CPUs in question were Intel Core i7, 10700, and Core i9 10900K CPUs, valued at about 800,000 Chinese yuan. I don't know. Anyway, so that's like 123,281 US dollars. The second smuggling attempt, huh?
It's a few dollars.
Yeah, the second smuggling attempt happened on June 26th at the same location after a Hong Kong customs officer inspected a passenger truck and found as many as 52 brand new Intel processors hidden between the driver's and front passenger seats. PC component searches have proven that various parts like CPUs, GPUs, and even hard drives are sometimes difficult to source. As a result, we have witnessed huge price increases for GPUs, CPUs, and even storage components, inflating MSRPs to insane levels. Unfortunately, when something is valuable and reported far and wide, even those on the wrong side of the law will try to get a piece of the pie. Given the ongoing chip shortages, we can expect to see many more attempts like these in the future.
I just don't understand why they have to smuggle them in. Why can't they just bring them
I think they're smuggling them out. I think is the thing.
out? Why would they do that?
Probably out of China to sell them in other markets.
Okay, I guess.
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I wonder if they're already sold and they're trying to smuggle them out of the country. I don't know.
No idea, really.
Yeah. I don't know. GM says 2 Chevy Bolts caught fire after getting recall fix. Zach?
Mm-hmm. Oops.
Yeah. So they said on Wednesday that 2 recent Bolt EV fires happened in vehicles that had already received the fix meant to prevent the battery pack from lighting, raising new questions about the recall announced last year. Okay. GM recalled nearly 96,000 Bolt EVs in November 2020 after a handful of reports of fires that apparently started in the electric vehicles' battery packs. Okay. It wasn't until May of this year that GM finally shared its plans to fix the problem causing the fires. It ultimately involved having Chevy dealers inspect the battery packs, swap out any suspected battery modules, and install new software meant to detect potential issues related to changes in battery module performance before problems can develop. Well, apparently that didn't quite happen in this case.
It seems not, yes.
The problem now is that this fix may be not be working at all. No, really? 2 recent fires happened in vehicles that have received the new software and been checked by a dealer, including one in a vehicle owned by a Vermont state lawmaker. Okay.
It's not a good look.
The other fire happened this week in New Jersey. The company told CNBC. GM says it's still investigating the fires and is asking owners who haven't gotten the fix to take their Bolts into a dealer regardless. Okay. I guess it'll maybe make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. At least 9 fires have been documented, and the company has started buying back some Bolts. Ooh, okay, that's a bad look. GM has remained tight-lipped about what is causing the fires throughout this whole process. But these electric model Bolts use the same cells from LG Chem, I think, that power Hyundai's Kona EV, which has also been recalled following multiple reports of fires and canceling are canceled outright in South Korea. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Remind me not to buy an electric vehicle from Chevy right now.
Hmm.
So, anyway. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's what I got for the show this week. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Thumbs down if you didn't. You know, all that fun stuff. And, yeah. We'll talk to all of you next week.